The sky turned dark over New York as the massive ships blocked the sun. They appeared without warning, over 300 warships, each larger than any vessel humans had ever built. The Draconian Empire had arrived, and Earth would never be the same. In the United Earth Defense Council Command Center, alarms blared as Director Evan Mitchell rushed through sliding doors. His gray hair was messy and his tie loose. He had been sleeping when the call came. "Status report," he demanded, his voice steady despite the fear in his stomach. 327 alien vessels entered our solar system 2 hours ago, said General Frank Woods. They bypassed all our outer defenses and positioned themselves in Earth orbit. They're everywhere, over every major city on the planet. Evan looked at the main screen showing the massive ships. They resembled giant arrowheads made of dark metal, with glowing red lines running across their hulls. "Have they made contact?" As if answering his question, the screens flickered and changed. A large reptilian face appeared. The creature had scales the color of burnished copper, yellow slitted eyes, and a jaw that could probably bite a human in half. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Admiral Kraz-Thul of the Draconian Empire. Your planet is now under our control. You have 24 Earth hours to surrender your governments to Draconian rule. Resistance will result in planetary bombardment. This is not negotiable." The screen went black. The room fell silent. "Can we fight them?" Evan asked quietly. "General," Woods shook his head. "Our most advanced weapons would be like throwing rocks at a tank. We detected energy readings from their smallest ships that could power all of North America for a year. Then we need to find another way," Evan said. "Get me every brilliant mind we have, scientists, engineers, strategists. Someone must have an idea." In a NASA communication facility in Houston, Kate Warren wasn't waiting for orders. She adjusted her headphones and focused on the strange readings coming from the alien ships. As the facility's top communications specialist, she had been monitoring deep space signals when the Draconians arrived. "This doesn't make sense," she muttered to herself. Her computer screen showed energy patterns she'd never seen before. They weren't random. They had structure, like some kind of code or language. She printed her findings and hurried down the hall to her supervisor's office. Dr. Alan Porter was arguing with someone on the phone when Kate walked in without knocking. "I have something," she said, placing the papers on his desk. Dr. Porter ended his call with an annoyed look. "We're in the middle of a global crisis, Kate. Whatever you found can wait." "The Draconian ships are sending out strange energy patterns," she insisted. "It's not communications, at least not like anything we use. It's almost like..." She struggled to find the right words. "Like their ships are talking to each other directly." Dr. Porter glanced at the papers and sighed. "It's probably just interference from their propulsion systems. Our equipment isn't designed to read alien technology." He handed the papers back. "We need to focus on maintaining our communications network. The Defense Council needs reliable channels." Kate took the papers but didn't leave. What if it's important? What if there's something in these patterns that could help us? "Unless you find a way to turn off their ships with your discovery, I don't have time for it," Dr. Porter said, already reaching for his ringing phone. Kate returned to her station, frustrated but determined. She would keep working on it herself. Montana, far from the major cities, Greg Hoffman stood outside his small observatory staring at the night sky with powerful binoculars. As an amateur astronomer, he had built the observatory himself after saving for years. Now it was giving him a front-row seat to humanity's possible extinction. Greg had been tracking the alien ships for hours, making notes of their positions and movements. Something struck him as odd. "They're not moving right," he said to himself. He checked his notes again. The massive fleet had arranged itself in a specific pattern. At first, Greg thought it was just a standard military formation. But the longer he watched, the more he realized the ships were slowly drifting out of position. Not by much, just a few meters here and there, but enough that a planned formation should have corrected. It was like watching a group of skydivers, who had perfectly arranged themselves, then passed out mid-air. The pattern was holding through momentum alone, without active control. Greg went back inside his observatory and uploaded his observations to an astronomy forum. Within minutes, his post was flooded with responses. Others had noticed the same thing. Back at the Defense Council, Director Mitchell was in the middle of a global emergency meeting when an aide rushed in with news. "Sir, the Draconian ultimatum. Deadline passed 5 minutes ago," the aide said. Everyone in the room tensed, expecting to hear reports of attacks beginning. "And?" Mitchell asked after several seconds of silence. "Nothing, sir. No movement, no communications. Our satellites show the alien fleet is completely dark." Confused looks passed between the council members. "Dark? What do you mean, dark?" "All energy signatures have ceased. The ships appear to be powered down. We're not detecting any life support systems, weapons charging, or engine activity. They're just sitting there." Director Mitchell stood up slowly. "Get me visual confirmation." Minutes later, satellite images showed the Draconian vessels hanging, motionless in orbit. The glowing red lines on their hulls had gone dark. "It could be a trap," General Woods warned. "They could be waiting for us to make a move." "Or something went wrong for them," Mitchell suggested. "We need eyes up there. Prep the Nighthawk." The Nighthawk was an experimental stealth vessel, the most advanced spacecraft humans had ever built. Originally designed for Mars missions, it was now being readied for a much more dangerous journey. Captain Laura Hayes received her orders with calm professionalism, though her heart raced. As one of Earth's top test pilots, she had flown the Nighthawk during its development. Now she would lead a small team to approach the alien fleet. "We'll be sending a science officer with you," Director Mitchell told her during the briefing. "Peter Donovan. He's the best xenobiologist we have, though I doubt he expected to be practicing his specialty so soon." 6 hours later, the Nighthawk silently approached the largest Draconian vessel, presumably Admiral Krazathul's flagship. Laura maneuvered carefully, ready to retreat at the first sign of danger. "No reaction to our approach," she reported. Continuing, the Nighthawk's sensors scanned the enormous battleship. "This is incredible," Peter Donovan said, examining the readings. "There's no active power source. Life support is offline, and I'm detecting thousands of life forms aboard, but they're in some kind of suspended animation state." "They're alive but unconscious?" Laura asked. "Something like that. It's as if they've all been put into hibernation simultaneously." As the Nighthawk returned to Earth with its findings, news spread quickly. The fearsome Draconian Armada, the most powerful military force in the galaxy, had somehow been neutralized without a fight. People celebrated in the streets. Religious leaders called it divine intervention. Military experts warned it might be temporary. But in her NASA office, Kate Warren stared at her computer screen with growing concern. The energy patterns she had detected earlier had changed. They were spreading through the Draconian ships like a digital infection. She now recognized what she was seeing. It resembled computer code, but unlike anything humans had ever developed. And whatever it wasn't finished yet. Earth had been granted a reprieve. But Kate couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much bigger than anyone realized. 6 months passed since the Draconian fleet went silent. Earth had changed. The frozen alien ship still hung in orbit, studied constantly by scientists from every nation. Military vessels patrolled nearby, watching for any sign of the Draconians. Waking up. Kate Warren stared out the window of her new office. Her discovery of the strange energy patterns had earned her a promotion to communications director. Now she worked directly with Director Mitchell, trying to understand what had happened to the aliens. "You look tired," said Director Mitchell as he entered her office with 2 cups of coffee. "I was up late studying the new data," Kate said, accepting the coffee gratefully. "The code, or whatever it is, keeps changing. It's like it's evolving." Before Mitchell could respond, alarms blared throughout the building. They rushed to the command center where screens showed a new ship entering Earth's atmosphere. This one looked nothing like the Draconian vessels. It was smaller, with a sleek silver hull that seemed to shimmer like water. "It's broadcasting a message," said a technician. "Audio only in multiple languages, including English." "Play it," ordered Mitchell. A smooth, almost musical voice filled the room. "People of Earth, we come in peace. We are representatives of the Galactic Concord and wish to speak with your leaders about the Draconian situation. We will land at the coordinates we are transmitting now." 2 hours later, Director Mitchell, Kate Warren, and other world leaders gathered at a military base in Switzerland. The silver ship landed gracefully on the runway. A door opened, and 3 beings emerged. The aliens were humanoid, but clearly not human. They had pale blue skin, large eyes, and were taller and thinner than most people. They wore simple silver clothing that matched their ship. The one in front stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Zelna of the Valerian Republic, representing the Galactic Concord. We come with gratitude and concern." Director Mitchell stepped forward as Earth's chosen representative. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador. I'm Director Evan Mitchell of the United Earth Defense Council." Inside a conference room, humans and aliens sat together for the first time. Ambassador Zelna explained why they had come. "The Draconian Empire has been the most feared power in our galaxy for centuries," the ambassador said. "They have conquered dozens of worlds and destroyed those who refuse to submit. Many species have been enslaved or wiped out entirely." Zelna's large eyes focused on Mitchell. "We avoided contact with Earth because the Draconians claimed your solar system as their territory. We feared they would destroy you eventually, but we could not risk open war with them by interfering. Then something remarkable happened," continued Zelna. 6 months ago, at precisely the same moment, all Draconian fleets across the galaxy went silent. 3 other armadas besides the one here at Earth suddenly shut down. Every ship, every soldier, every system, all inactive at once. The room was silent as the humans processed this information. "The galaxy wants to know," Zelna said, leaning forward. "What weapon did Earth use against the most powerful military force in known space?" Mitchell looked surprised. "Weapon? We didn't do anything. The Draconians arrived, threatened us, and then just stopped working. We thought it was some kind of malfunction." The alien ambassador studied Mitchell's face carefully. "You truly don't know what happened?" "We honestly don't," Mitchell replied. "We've been studying their ships for months, trying to figure it out ourselves." Zelna sat back, clearly troubled. "This is concerning. If Earth did not disable the Draconian forces, then something else did, something powerful enough to affect their entire empire simultaneously." In another part of the world, Dr. Alan Porter led a team of scientists aboard the Draconian flagship. With better equipment and help from Galactic Concord scientists, they had made progress understanding the alien technology. "Their neural interfaces are fascinating," said Trelvak, a Concord scientist with green skin and 4 arms. Each hand worked on a different device as he spoke. "The Draconians partially merge with their ship systems while in combat. It makes them incredibly effective but also vulnerable." Dr. Porter nodded. "From what we can tell, they were hit with some kind of virus that specifically targeted that connection. It put the crew into stasis while shutting down the ships." "But who created such a virus?" asked Trelvak. "And how was it deployed across the galaxy at once?" Back in Montana, Greg Hoffman was surprised to find government agents at his door. His online posts about the Draconian ship's strange formation had caught attention. "Mr. Hoffman," said the lead agent, "Director Mitchell would like your assistance." Instead of being arrested as he had feared, Greg found himself part of a civilian advisory panel. Scientists and military officials listened carefully as he shared his observations. "The ships arranged themselves in this specific pattern before shutting down," Greg explained, showing diagrams on a large screen. "At first I thought it was random, but then I realized I'd seen something like it before." He clicked to a new image, showing ancient cave paintings from multiple continents. These patterns appear in petroglyphs around the world. Some are thousands of years old. "You think there's a connection between prehistoric cave paintings and an alien fleet?" asked a skeptical general. "I'm just pointing out the similarity," Greg said. "I can't explain it." While Earth's leaders debated what to do, tensions grew in the galactic community. Some worlds saw Earth as potential liberators from Draconian rule. Others feared that whatever had defeated the Draconians might be an even greater threat. 3 delegations from different alien alliances arrived on Earth within weeks. Each wanted the same thing, to learn Earth's secret weapon. We don't have a secret weapon, Kate told Ambassador Zelna during a private meeting. But something on Earth affected their ships. I've been tracking energy patterns that suggest some kind of code infiltrated their systems. If Earth truly was not responsible, said Zelna, then we must discover what was, for all our sakes. The answer came sooner than expected. Monitoring. Stations detected a new draconian force entering the solar system, a smaller scout fleet of 20 ships. Earth prepared for attack. Military forces went on high alert. The visiting alien delegations offered assistance with their own ships. But, just like before, as the draconian vessels approached Earth orbit, they suddenly went silent. This time, Peter Donovan was ready. Using equipment provided by the Galactic Concord, he captured readings at the exact moment the ship shut down. The data was clear and shocking. The shutdown signal had originated from Earth itself. It came from somewhere in South America, Peter told Director Mitchell and the assembled leaders. The signal appeared for less than a second, but it was incredibly powerful. Kate analyzed the data and confirmed it matched the strange code she'd been studying. Whatever did this is on our planet, and it's been here all along. Ambassador Zelna looked grave. If this technology exists on your world without your knowledge, it raises an important question. What question? Asked Mitchell. Who put it there? And more importantly, why? The jungle was thick and humid. Captain Laura Hayes wiped sweat from her forehead as she led the team through the Amazon rainforest. Behind her walked Kate Warren, Peter Donovan, and the alien scientist Trelvac. 6 soldiers guarded them, cutting through vines when needed. Are you sure this is the right way? Laura asked, checking her GPS device. Kate nodded. The signal came from somewhere in this area. We've triangulated it as precisely as possible. They had been walking for hours. The location was far from any roads or settlements. No human had built anything here, as far as records showed. I'm detecting unusual energy readings, said Trelvac, holding up a Concord scanning device. Similar to the signal that affected the Draconian ships, but very faint. Which direction? Asked Laura. Trelvac pointed forward. That way. Perhaps half a kilometer more. The group continued through the dense forest. Birds and monkeys called from the trees above. Insects buzzed around them constantly. Wait, said Peter suddenly. Do you see that? Ahead, barely visible, through the trees was a large stone structure. It was mostly covered with vines and moss, making it look like part of the landscape. As they got closer, they could see it was a pyramid of sorts, but unlike any built by ancient human civilizations, the stone blocks fit together so perfectly that not even a knife blade could fit between them. This architecture doesn't match any known Earth culture, said Peter, examining the structure with wonder. But it's clearly been here for thousands of years. Millions, perhaps, said Trelvac, studying his scanner. The materials show extreme age. Laura approached the base of the pyramid. There were no obvious doors or windows. How do we get inside? As if in answer to her question, a section of the wall silently slid open, revealing a dark passage. It reacted to our presence, said Kate, surprised. Or to our technology, added Trelvac. Laura hesitated, then switched on her flashlight. Stay alert, she told the soldiers. We don't know what's in there. The passage led deep into the pyramid. The walls were smooth and covered with strange symbols that glowed faintly with blue light. The air inside was cool and dry, unlike the humid jungle outside. These markings, said Peter, touching one of the walls. They're similar to the patterns the Draconian ships formed before shutting down. After walking for several minutes, they entered a large circular room. The moment they stepped inside, the entire chamber lit up. In the center stood a raised platform with what looked like a control panel. This technology shouldn't exist on Earth from this time period, said Kate. In amazement, Trelvac approached the central platform carefully. I've never seen anything like this, even among the most advanced Concord worlds. When Laura stepped onto the platform, the control panel activated. A beam of light shot up from it, forming a holographic image. The hologram showed a humanoid figure, tall and slender, with features that seemed both alien and somewhat human. The figure spoke in a language none of them understood. Then, after a pause, it switched to English. Guardian Protocol Alpha, online. Genetic identification confirmed. Earth indigenous sentient species. Access granted. Everyone stared in shock. What are you? Laura asked the hologram. I am an interface for the Guardian Protocol, a defense system established by the Cedars before their departure from this world. Laura glanced at her teammates, before continuing. Who are the Cedars? The Cedars were the civilization that nurtured life on this planet and many others. They departed from the physical realm approximately 5 million years ago, but left protective measures for worlds with developing sentient life. Kate stepped forward. Did you disable the Draconian fleet? Affirmative. The Guardian Protocol was programmed to remain dormant until Earth faced extinction-level threats beyond its capability to handle. The Draconian invasion triggered activation. Parameters. How did you stop them? Asked Peter. The Cedars predicted that aggressive species would develop neural interface technology to enhance their combat capabilities. Guardian Protocol exploits a fundamental flaw in such technology, inducing a state of suspended animation rather than causing destruction. Back at the United Earth Defense Council headquarters, Director Mitchell received the team's report with amazement. Ambassador Zell-Na and representatives from other galactic powers listened carefully. An ancient alien defense system, said Mitchell, shaking his head in wonder. Hidden on Earth for millions of years. The Cedars are known in many galactic myths, said Zell-Na. Most believe them to be legends. If Earth is indeed under their protection, it changes everything. News of the discovery spread quickly, causing political turmoil. Some nations demanded control of the Guardian technology, seeing it as Earth's ticket to galactic power. Others feared revenge from the Draconians' allies. In Montana, Greg Hoffman worked with other civilian researchers, studying myths and ancient sites around the world. They discovered that similar cedar sites were referenced in many old stories, often described as places where gods or spirits slept beneath the earth. We've identified potential locations for other Guardian facilities, Greg told Director Mitchell during a video call. They're mentioned in legends from every continent. Good work, said Mitchell. We need to find all of them. This discovery affects the entire planet. Meanwhile, Kate and Peter continued studying the Amazon facility with Trelvac's help. The Guardian interface revealed more about its purpose and capabilities. The Cedars visited many worlds, Kate explained to Laura as they examined holographic star maps. They left Guardian systems on planets where they found promising life. But why Earth? Asked Laura. What made us special? Before Kate could answer, alarms sounded throughout the facility. The Guardian hologram appeared again. Warning. Threat detection system activated. Draconian home fleet approaching solar system. Estimated arrival, 90 Earth days. Home fleet? Laura asked with concern. What does that mean? The approaching force is the central fleet of the Draconian Empire. It is many times larger than the previous armadas and includes technologies designed to counteract Guardian Protocol effects. Can you stop them like you did the others? Asked Kate. The hologram flickered slightly. Negative. The approaching fleet has adapted their neural interfaces based on data from the disabled ships. Guardian Protocol effectiveness is estimated at less than 20%. Laura's face grew serious. Then we need to prepare for a real fight. Back at the Defense Council, panic grew as the news spread. The Draconian home fleet was massive, over 2,000 warships, each carrying weapons that could destroy entire cities. Even with help from the Galactic Concord, we can't match that kind of firepower, said General Woods during an emergency meeting. Perhaps we don't need to, said Kate, who had just returned from the Amazon. The Guardian told us something important before we left. All eyes turned to her. The Amazon facility is just a control node. The real defense system is much larger, a network of vessels and platforms hidden beneath Earth's oceans and deep in the mantle. Hidden ships? Asked Mitchell with hope in his voice. Can we use them? Kate nodded. Yes, but there's a catch. The system was designed to be controlled by Earth's indigenous sentient species, by humans, once we reach sufficient technological maturity. It requires genetic authorization from multiple people, connected through a neural link similar to what the Draconians use. Is it dangerous? Mitchell asked. The Guardian didn't say it was, but Kate hesitated. We'd be connecting our minds to technology millions of years old. No one knows exactly what will happen. Director Mitchell looked around the room at Earth's leaders. We have 3 months before the Draconian home fleet arrives. We need to find all the Guardian facilities and learn how to use this defense system. Ambassador Zelna stood. The Galactic Concord will provide whatever assistance we can. If the WhyHFY Cedars truly protected Earth, there must be a reason. Perhaps now we will discover what it is. As the meeting ended, Laura approached Kate. The Guardian mentioned something about humans being compatible with their technology, but resistant to total neural integration. What did it mean by that? Kate shook her head. I don't know yet, but I think we're about to find out. Kate stared at the holographic display floating above the control panel. It showed Earth with 12 blinking points of light scattered across the globe. Each light marked a Guardian facility like the one they'd found in the Amazon. We've located 8 of them so far, said Director Mitchell, pointing to the glowing dots. Teams are searching for the last 4. 2 months had passed since they discovered the Guardian protocol. The Draconian home fleet was now just 30 days away. Earth and its new galactic allies prepared for war, but everyone knew their combined forces weren't enough to stop the coming armada. The Guardian says we need to activate all 12 facilities at once, Kate explained. Each requires a human operator to form a neural link with the system. Is it safe? Asked Laura, who had been chosen as one of the operators. Kate hesitated. The Guardian calls it attunement. It says humans are compatible with cedar technology, in a way other species aren't. But there are risks. The mental connection will be intense. The holographic image of the Guardian appeared beside them. The attunement process was designed for your species. Your minds have the necessary flexibility to adapt to the interface without being overwhelmed by it. Unlike the Draconians, humans can connect with technology without losing their individual identity. Peter, who would also be an operator, looked troubled. The Draconians merged too completely with their systems. That's why your shutdown signal affected them so severely. Correct, said the Guardian. Their neural technology creates a dependency that makes them vulnerable. Human neurology is more resilient. Greg Hoffman arrived from Montana bringing maps showing the locations of the last 4 Guardian facilities. His research team had found references to them in ancient myths and archaeological sites. This one, he said, pointing to a spot in northern Russia, is mentioned in Siberian legends as the place where stone giants sleep, and this one in Egypt is beneath the desert, described in texts older than the pyramids. Director Mitchell assembled 12 teams, each headed to a different Guardian facility. Kate, Peter, Laura, and Greg would each lead a team. The other 8 teams included scientists, military personnel, and representatives from different Earth nations. The Galactic Concord provided transport and technical support. Before they departed, Mitchell addressed them solemnly. What you're about to do has never been attempted before. You'll be connecting with technology millions of years old, created by beings we barely understand. The future of Earth depends on you. Around the world, the teams traveled to their assigned locations. Some facilities were hidden beneath mountains, others under oceans or deserts. Each was similar to the Amazon structure. Ancient pyramids or domes covered by the landscape, virtually invisible until approached. Kate's team went to a facility deep beneath a mountain in Japan. As they entered the central chamber, the systems activated just as they had in the Amazon. A control platform waited in the center. Remember your training, Kate told her team. Once I'm connected, monitor my vital signs. If anything goes wrong, use the emergency shutdown procedure. She stepped onto the platform and placed her hands on the control panel. Instantly, a blue light surrounded her. She gasped as information flooded her mind. Kate saw images of Earth's ancient past, dinosaurs roaming the land, early mammals emerging, and then glimpses of tall, elegant beings watching it all. The Cedars. She felt their thoughts, their hopes, for this world they had nurtured. Then she saw the Draconians, not as they were now, but as they had been millions of years ago, a peaceful species that explored the stars alongside the Cedars. Something had changed them, corrupted them over time. Across the globe, the other 11 operators experienced similar visions. Each saw different aspects of Earth's history and the Cedars' legacy. Peter learned about the unique properties of human neurology that made us compatible with Cedar technology, but resistant to complete integration. Greg witnessed the Cedars, placing guardian facilities around the world, hiding them from primitive humans who weren't ready for such knowledge. Laura's experience was the most intense. In her facility beneath the Atlantic Ocean, she saw the Cedars conflict with something dark and invasive, a parasitic intelligence that had begun to infect species that used neural technology. The Draconians had been its first victims. Their culture slowly twisted toward conquest and control. In Washington, Director Mitchell received updates as each operator completed attunement. 10 successful connections, then 11. Only Greg's team in Egypt remained. "Something's wrong," reported a technician. "We've lost contact with the Egypt team." Mitchell's face darkened. What happened? Before anyone could answer, alarms sounded. Satellite images showed military forces converging on the Egyptian facility. A coalition of nations that opposed sharing Cedar technology had launched an operation to seize control of it. "Get me General Woods," Mitchell ordered. "We need to secure that facility now." As chaos erupted in Egypt, Greg found himself trapped inside the Guardian chamber. The external doors had sealed when the attack began. He stood alone before the control platform, hearing explosions outside as forces battled for control. "I have to complete the attunement," he said to himself. "There's no other choice." He stepped onto the platform. Blue light engulfed him, and visions filled his mind. He saw more of the Cedars' history, how they had evolved from a species that once lived on Earth long before humans. They had left their homeworld, evolved across the stars, and then returned to protect their birthplace. As Greg completed the attunement, something remarkable happened. Around the world, the 12 Guardian facilities activated simultaneously. Massive structures began to rise from oceans, emerge from mountains, and ascend from deep beneath the Earth. Giant ships and defense platforms, built by the Cedars millions of years ago, now awakened from their long sleep. They were beautiful and terrifying, sleek vessels of silver and blue, unlike anything humans or their galactic allies had ever seen. In the command center, Director Mitchell watched in awe as the satellite feed showed hundreds of Cedar vessels taking position around Earth. "It worked," he whispered. Ambassador Zelna stood beside him, equally amazed. "These ships, they're beyond anything in the galactic conquered, even beyond Draconian technology. But controlling such power proved challenging. The 12 operators, now mentally linked to the Guardian network, struggled to coordinate their actions. Each experienced the overwhelming sensory input differently. Kate felt the power of a massive defense platform under her control, but couldn't fully understand how to direct its weapons. Peter sensed the movements of dozens of smaller vessels, but found it difficult to organize them effectively. Laura and Greg had similar problems with their sections of the fleet. "We need to learn quickly," Laura told the others through their shared mental connection. "The Draconians will be here in less than a week." At that moment, Ambassador Zelna received an urgent message from Concord scouts monitoring the approaching Draconian fleet. "Director Mitchell," said the ambassador gravely, "the home fleet has accelerated. Their estimated arrival has changed." Mitchell's face paled. "How long do we have?" 24 hours, replied Zelna. "They will reach Earth tomorrow." The sky above Earth filled with ships. The ancient Cedar vessels, now awakened and controlled by the 12 attuned humans, formed a defensive line around the planet. Behind them, the combined fleet of the Galactic Concord took position, though Their ships looked small and primitive next to the Cedar technology. In the Guardian facility beneath the Atlantic Ocean, Laura Hayes floated in a chamber of blue light. Her physical body remained there while her mind connected to her assigned vessels. Through the neural link, she could see and feel every part of the massive ships under her control. "Status report," came Director Mitchell's voice through her comm, unit sounding far away. "We're still learning the systems," Laura replied. "The Cedar ships have weapons unlike anything we've seen before. They don't just destroy, they can disrupt, disable, or even transform matter." Similar reports came from the other 11 operators. Kate had discovered defense platforms that could generate energy shields large enough to cover entire cities. Peter found vessels equipped with healing technology that could repair damage to other ships almost instantly. Greg controlled scout ships so fast they could cross the solar system in minutes. "The Draconian fleet will exit faster than light travel near Mars in 30 minutes, reported a Concord officer. Their advanced scouts are already entering the system. In the lead Cedar vessel, controlled partly by Laura and partly by the Guardian, Protocol itself, Ambassador Zelna stood beside a holographic display of the solar system. "We've analyzed their approach," said the ambassador. "They're sending smaller attack groups to test your defenses before committing their main force." Laura nodded, her eyes glowing slightly blue from the neural connection. "We'll be ready." The first Draconian attack group appeared, 50 warships moving quickly toward Earth. Before they could get close, Greg's scout vessels intercepted them, moving so fast they were barely visible streaks of light. The Draconians fired their weapons. Energy beams capable of cutting through normal ship armor like paper, but the Cedar ships absorbed the attacks with barely a flicker in their shields. "Return fire," Greg commanded through the neural link. His ships released pulses of blue energy that enveloped the Draconian vessels. Most of the alien ships shut down immediately, their crews falling into stasis as the previous fleets had. "Some of them are still operational," Greg reported with surprise. "They've adapted their neural interfaces." The remaining Draconian ships regrouped and continued their assault. Kate activated her defense platforms, creating a wall of energy that the enemy weapons couldn't penetrate. "We need to coordinate better," Peter said to the other operators. "We're fighting as individuals, not as a fleet." Laura realized he was right. Though each operator controlled their vessels well, they weren't working together effectively. There had to be a better way. "Everyone," she called through the neural link, "the Guardian facilities are connected, maybe we should be too. I'm going to try something." In her Atlantic chamber, Laura pushed deeper into the neural connection, reaching out for the others. She felt resistance at first, then a sudden opening as Kate connected with her. Then Peter, then Greg. And soon all 12 operators joined, in a shared consciousness. Suddenly, they could see through each other's eyes, feel what the others felt. Their thoughts remained separate, but they now understood each other without words. The Cedar fleet moved with new purpose, ships and platforms working in perfect harmony. As the main Draconian fleet approached, a massive battleship took the lead. On its bridge stood Admiral Vex Thule, father of Kraz Thule, who had led the first, failed invasion. The giant reptilian commander's scales were darker than his son's, almost black, and his yellow eyes burned with anger. A transmission reached Earth from the Draconian flagship. Admiral Vex Thule appeared on screens around the world. "People of Earth," he growled, "you have awakened forbidden Cedar technology and used it against the Draconian Empire. For this crime, there will be no mercy. Your world will be reduced to ash as an example to others who would defy us." Director Mitchell watched from the command center, his face grim. "Can we stop them?" he asked Ambassador Zelna. "The Cedar vessels are powerful," replied the ambassador. "But the Draconians have been preparing for this confrontation for centuries. They fear the Cedars more than anything else in the galaxy." The battle began in earnest. Thousands of Draconian warships attacked from all directions. The Cedar fleet responded with incredible speed and power, their advanced weapons destroying or disabling hundreds of enemy vessels in the first few minutes. But the Draconians adapted quickly. They deployed weapons specifically designed to disrupt Cedar technology. Several Guardian vessels were damaged, and the neural feedback caused pain to their human controllers. In her chamber, Laura gasped as she felt one of her ships being torn apart. The pain flashed through her mind and into the shared consciousness of the operators. Some faltered, their control weakening. "We can't match them ship for ship," Laura told the others. "There are too many, and they keep adapting to our attacks." As she fought to maintain control, Laura connected more deeply with her remaining vessels, seeking any advantage. She accessed previously locked systems and discovered something the Guardian had never mentioned. The Cedars had built their technology, not just for defense but for communication. "I have an idea," she told the others through their link. "But it's dangerous. I need to broadcast directly into the Draconian command network." "That's suicide," objected Peter. "Their neural security will destroy your mind." "Not if we all do it together," Laura replied. "The Guardian said humans can connect with technology without losing ourselves to it. Maybe that's the real reason." The Cedars protected Earth. The other operators understood immediately through their shared consciousness. Together, they directed their remaining ships to form a sphere around Earth, focusing their energy not as weapons, but as a broadcasting array. Laura reached out into the Draconian network, feeling the alien minds connected to their ships. Instead of attacking, she sent images, memories extracted from the Guardian archives showing the ancient relationship between the Cedars and the Draconians. The broadcast revealed the truth. The Draconians had once been peaceful explorers who worked alongside the Cedars. Then a parasitic intelligence had infected their neural technology thousands of years ago, slowly corrupting their civilization and driving them toward conquest. Aboard his flagship, Admiral Vex Thule roared in fury as the images filled his mind. "Lies," he shouted. But deep within, something resonated with the truth. Memories he never knew he had surfaced. Memories of ancestors who valued knowledge over power, exploration over conquest. Throughout the Draconian fleet, confusion spread. Ship commanders and crews experienced the same revelations, seeing their true heritage for the first time in millennia. Some continued fighting, but others hesitated, uncertain. Vex Thule, enraged by this weakness, ordered a final planet-killing strike against Earth. His flagship moved forward, charging its main weapon, a gravitational device capable of tearing a planet apart. But before he could fire, his own officers turned against him. Led by his second-in-command, they had broken free of the parasitic influence and remembered their people's true nature. The Draconian civil conflict spread quickly through the fleet. Ships fired on each other as those freed from corruption fought, those still under its control. In the chaos, the attack on Earth faltered and then stopped entirely. 2 days later, representatives from both sides met aboard a Cedar vessel. The freed Draconians, their eyes clear of the yellow tint that had marked the infection, requested help purging the parasite from their systems and their civilization. Director Mitchell addressed the United Nations, explaining what had happened. "We didn't defeat the Draconian Armada with superior firepower," he said. "We defeated them with truth. The Cedars didn't just leave us weapons, they left us understanding." Kate, Peter, Greg, and Laura remained connected to the Guardian network, though less deeply than during the battle. Their enhanced awareness gave them unique insights as Earth began a new chapter as a major galactic power. Ambassador Zelna shared one final piece of information before departing. "Our oldest records suggest the Cedars themselves evolved from a species that once lived on Earth, millions of years before humans. They left Earth not as visitors but as returning children, ensuring the safe development of their distant cousins, humanity." As the Draconian ships that had hung silent in orbit for months began to awaken, their crews now free of the parasite's influence, Earth prepared to welcome them, not as enemies, but as the first of many new allies in the stars. The Draconian Armada that disappeared over Earth had revealed much more than a powerful defense system. It had uncovered humanity's true heritage and future among the stars.